Hey there! Are you new to Microsoft's Power Platform? We have an exciting video for you today with our Power Platform specialist, Zach Watson. Whether you're just getting started on the Power Platform or you need a little bit of a refresher, he's going to give you all the information you need to kickstart your journey. So let's get started.
Hey everybody, this is Zach, and today we're going to talk about Power Automate, the basics of Power Automate. And to start, we're going to ask the question and answer the question, what is Power Automate? So Power Automate is an automation tool that comes with the Microsoft platform suite of products that allow both developers and non-technical users to make their own business processes that will fulfill their business needs. They're a low-code, no-code solution to automation, and there's two kinds of flows that you can create, and you create them in two different. One of these is called a cloud flow, which exists in the cloud, and you develop and execute these on a web browser. And the other type of flow is a desktop flow created in an application known as PAD or Power Automate Desktop. Today, we'll be focusing more on cloud flows. And in the future, we plan on having a webinar or recording more focused on desktop flows. So more on Power Automate cloud flows. Cloud flows are a type of Power Automate flow which can have many different connections, not just to, say, Dataverse or SharePoint, but there are tons and tons of custom connectors, both free and premium, that you can utilize within the Cloudflow triggers and in actions. And these function in your cloud environments. More about these cloud flows. There's automation across cloud services. So as I had just stated, there's many different connections that you can have, not just to like Dataverse and SharePoint, but to third-party services as well. There's plenty of integration capabilities driving more into those different connections. And it's a very way of efficiently automating any kind of business process you might need. There's also recently Copilot has been added to Power Automate so that you can create and develop these flows with AI. But a few downsides are you need to use these predefined connectors. So if you can't find it, you can't do it. You have to use what is available to you. And if you want to control any kind of desktop functions, such as a macro or clicking around here on your files on your desktop, anything like that, then you need Power Automate Desktop for that. Cloud flows cannot accomplish that. So moving on here, I just want to look at a couple quick examples before we jump into our live demo. Just looking at the editors here on the right side of the screen. On the top left, you can see a classic view where we send an email after a row has been added to the contacts table. The first step is the trigger, which triggers if a row is added to the contacts table. And the second step is an action, which sends the email. On the bottom right is a more complicated flow, also in the brand new designer view, the new look. And this is just an example of branching functions, which is if true, if false, and such. So from here, we're going to transition into the live demo portion of the webinar. We're going to be going over some of the basics and creating a very basic flow. So first things first is actually navigating to the Power Automate site and developing a flow. To navigate, you could start from your 365 portal down near the bottom where you see Explore by Category, select Utilities, and you'll see Power Automate. Additionally, if you've navigated here previously on your waffle on the top left, you should be able to find Power Automate, and you can open from here or pin to the launcher as well. Now on powerautomate.com, you can also, now in your web browser, you can also type in make.powerautomate.com to navigate to the site as well. Once you're here, you've got plenty of options on the left side. We're going to focus on creating a cloud flow today, so I'm going to select Create. And from here, you have options for different kinds of triggers, or you can start from a template. The most common triggers are an automated flow that triggers based on some other condition being met, a instant cloud flow, which triggers based on the click of a button, and a scheduled flow, which runs on a schedule. In this case, we're going to make an instant cloud flow that happens when we manually trigger it. What I want to do with this flow is say, I want a button that sends a message in Teams. So I can click run the flow and it will send me a message in Teams, such as a notification flow, something, just an example of that, right? So here we're going to manually trigger the flow. And so I'll select the manually trigger a flow trigger, and we'll hit create, and we can also make a name. So I'll just name this Teams message flow, and we can create. And from here, it automatically puts us in the new designer. And for the purposes of this demonstration, I will be staying in the new designer. However, if you want to switch to the old designer, the option is in the top right. Additionally, we can use Copilot to help us develop our app further, and still in preview for the most part. So there are some things that the AI will not be able to do, and there are other things that the AI will not be good at doing. So if you run into an error where you try to ask Copilot to build something and it is just not working, just realize that Copilot is still in preview and still being developed. So AI generated content may be incorrect, as you'll see in the multiple messages that are shown. From here, I could simply ask a question or describe how I want to change the flow. And in this case, just to preview how Copilot works, I can say, I want to send a Teams message after the trigger. And we can let Copilot decide how it wants to solve our problem. And it's giving us a preview of what it's done. It updated the trigger to manually trigger a flow, and then it added the action to post a message in a chat or channel. Now, it doesn't look like it actually changed anything about the trigger. That's fine. But what we really care about is the new action, where it is gone into all of the different connections. It has found the action that can post a message in Teams, and it has added that to the flow for us automatically, which is fantastic and saves us a bunch of time having to manually add an action and come in, find Teams, maybe send, post a message, and adding in this manually. So from here, if we click on the action in our view, we can see a settings editor on the left-hand side here show up. In the classic view, it would be on the right side or just inside of the actual box you see on screen. And from here, I can manage the different settings of my action. So I can post as the flow bot or Power Virtual Agents, which is still in preview, or as a user. In this case, I'll just keep it as Flowbot, and I can post it in a channel, a chat with the Flowbot, or a group chat. In this case, I'll just keep it in a chat with the Flowbot, and then I can enter in a recipient name or email. In this case, I'll just enter in my own email, and I can add a message. For this message, we can just say, this is a test of a Power Automate Cloud flow. And then I can save here at the top right. And our flow has saved. And so now, just want to verify my flow is working. I'm going to test, which has the exact same functionality. In this case, since the flow is so simple, I'm going to test, and I'm going to manually test. And we just have some connections here that I have to verify. So sometimes when you're making a connection to when you have an action and you need to make a connection with that action, it will ask you to verify that. So I'm going to go ahead and verify that and run the flow. It's done here, and it should take us to a preview. So now we're in a not editor view, but a preview of the run. And I can see different details of the run, looking at the inputs and the outputs, as well as the time it took for each step to run. So the trigger was instant, and then posting a message took a couple seconds. And then from here, we are able to, if I find my teams, we are able to see the message actually sent in Teams. And here's another message when I was testing previously. So as you can see, this flow worked. First try with Copilot, sending a simple message in Teams through Power Automate Cloudflow. And there are plenty more complex examples. You know, as we looked at before, there are many, many templates that you can select from. You don't have to start from scratch as we did just in this example. You can save a message to OneNote. You can forward emails to a chat. I mean, there's probably hundreds and hundreds of different templates that you can begin from. And there's a search box here. If you have a certain idea that you want to begin from, like maybe you want to do something with SharePoint, you can search. And here's an endless list of templates that have to do with SharePoint.
Thank you so much for watching our video on the basics of Power Automate. If you ever have any questions along your Power Platform journey, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help. Have a great day.